Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Celso Fernandez. I born in Spain, in Galicia, and I got a strong relationship with Barcelona in Catalonia because it's where I find Islam, where I become Muslim, or where I revert to Islam, to be exactly. When I was a child, in my family, I was raised in a Christian Catholic family. Not really practice, they don't really practice Catholicism, but my mother just was one who used to go to the church, and so I used to go to the church from very early stage of my life. So I become in the church one of the lectors. I was a lector in the church, and I used to go every day to the church, and I used to be the one who helped the priest to make the mass. So I have always been a believer. I have always believed in God, and my relationship with God, most of my life has been through Christianity. As a Christian, I have been teaching about Jesus, alayhi salam, in a way that he was God who died for us. But even if we have been teaching from a very early stage, and there's many things we should not make, like for example go out, get drunk, have relationships outside for marriage because it's not allowed. I see always in my whole life and the environment where I've been growing up, the Christian environment, in a very relaxed way about this kind of things. Something is really normal to go out with girls and have relationships outside of marriage, or get drunk in the pub, and go to the discotheques. There's nothing wrong as long as you don't hurt others. It's nothing wrong, Even you go Sundays to church and they say you should not make this and you should not have relationships outside. People is very relaxed with this, It's like there is a lack of guilty. I mean, you don't feel guilty, you do this, I find the difference in Islam about this point, that even you start to have this kind of afraid. I made this, it can be punishment. It can be punished. Something is going to be wrong. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching over me. I have not this feeling as a Christian. I was not interested at all in to have any relationship with Muslim. All what I know about Islam was the 2 pages I studied in the school for 800 years, resumed 2 pages, and what the media say about Islam and about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I start to have the feeling that Jesus alayhi salam was not God, was a human being. So in some point of my life I start to pray to God straight away, without praying to anything else. I mean, not pray to Jesus, not pray to Mary, the mother of Jesus, not pray any of the saints, nothing that I haven't teaching before. I start to pray directly to God. Even I see Jesus as some point, very high point, very high person, prophet. I start to believe he was a prophet. Even I knew nothing about this in Islam, but I start to feel like this. And I need more answers. And I already have read many times the Bible, studied the Bible since I was a child. I start to looking for answers in different branches of Christianity. I need to look for somewhere for answers. I start to read about other religions. I didn't fit at all with the answer I wanted. And I start to feel a very strange feeling. I want to humble myself before God. As a believer, I believe it's not enough what I'm doing. I mean, when I pray as a Christian, put my knees in the floor, but I start to feel the need of put myself humble in the floor, like Muslim do, like the sujood. So I didn't know how Muslim pray, because I never care about that, but I have the feeling, and I feel like something is pushing me. This was literally what I feel, something like someone coming to push you to put yourself in the floor, and I did that. I start to do this without knowing what I'm doing. I just start to pray with my forefront in in the floor. I have this feeling I need to be there. I didn't know why, and I need this kind of, don't know, it's pushing me against the floor. So I start to do that. I start to read the Quran. So 10 years after, in this point when I was all ready to understand Islam, I start to read the Quran. I understand everything from the Fatiha, everything. I couldn't believe what I was reading in that moment was the same book that I tried to read 10 years ago, but I understand nothing. And every time I read an ayah, I say, I believe in this. I believe in this. I feel this kind of feeling, you know, when some kind of calmness is over your body, you know, and the hair is pointed, you know. So I feel this, and I start to say, I need to stop to read this book. In this point I stop. I say, I need to stop, because if I don't stop, I'm gonna be Muslim. In fact, I believe in this. If I believe in this, I'm Muslim. So many questions come to my hands, through my mind. Is, if I am Muslim, I need to make Ramadan, fasting. How am I gonna fast? 30 days without drinking. I see myself not strong enough to do that. So I need to live. I cannot drink any more alcohol. I don't used to drink a lot, but I cannot drink anything. I cannot eat pork, and I used to eat pork. I love to eat pork, to be honest, in that moment, you know. So, and I need to pray 5 times. And now I don't need to pray when I want to. No, I need to pray when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say I need to pray. So I need to submit myself and make these times. When in Christianity it's easy, you pray when you want. If you don't want to pray in that moment, you don't pray. You can pray once a day, that's it. So I carry on to reading. And every time I'm reading, I say, this book is the continuation of the books, of the people of the book. It makes sense to me, and everything who is written here is presented in a way who is reasonable. So the most difficult to me was to make my mind to the idea that Jesus alayhi salam was not die in the cross, because this is an idea who had been teaching from a very early stage of my life till the bones. So it was really, that's this point to accept Islam, was to know how I'm gonna now deny Jesus alayhi salam not died in the cross. But Alhamdulillah, I understand that it was not fair. I understand how God, who is Almighty, He don't need to put an innocent person in the cross to die and suffer, to bleed until death, to forgive people. It's not, He don't need this. He don't need this kind of, He's Almighty, He can forgive you without this. There's no point to make suffer to someone. So at the end I accept this, and I start to learn how to pray. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Yeah, in this point I was reading the Quran, I was realizing I was Muslim. I couldn't deny myself, because I believe in this book. I'm Muslim. I have been Christian all my life, and now I'm reading this and I realize that this is true, and that I'm Muslim. So Islam, that I understand something very, very important in this point. I need to be honest with myself. I cannot lie to myself. I need to be honest. I'm Muslim. So I made the Shahada myself in that moment. I say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, knowing what I'm doing, and knowing the meaning of this. In the same night I was reading the Quran, I knew that is the path I need to go deeper. So I was sure. It took me one night reading the Quran, but already I was prepared. Many years of my life have been prepared to understand the Quran, because 10 years before I couldn't understand. In that point I understand. So I say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, I start to pray. So it's when I see the sujood, the paths of the prayer, and all these kind of things, and everything is made sense to me, and I feel the prayer as something beautiful. I didn't want to go to the mosque yet, you know, because I feel like a saint to go, you know, what people, all men, they don't know me, I don't know, I was feeling a little bit strange. So I went to Islamic organization in Mataró. I remember the organization is still today. It's calling AHI, the organization, and they make a Arabic course, and I tell them I want to learn Arabic. But I don't tell them I'm Muslim. I don't tell them I believe in Allah like you. I just want to go slowly. I went there and I started to learn. I went 2 months to class, and I started to learn how to read and the Alifat and everything. And I start to make questions to them. For my surprise, they didn't answer me the questions I made to them, or maybe they didn't know, or maybe they didn't want to make mistakes in answer me. In the city, I only find one preacher, one imam, who made the khutbah in Arabic and in Spanish, but for some reason this preacher has been putting away from the khutbah. They put another one who only speaks Arabic. So I stay again in the same. In that point, 1 year later, I made my shahada in the masjid. I feel something amazing. I remember why. I didn't know and I didn't expect. When I finished the shahada, I said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. Everyone in the masjid came to give me a hajj. And in this moment, I feel emotional, you know. You know what is hundreds of people or more who you don't know coming to give you a hajj and telling you, welcome, you are my brother. And I was needed that, no? I was in a point when you need the love of the people, you know, to say you are not alone, you got a family. In that point, I feel like I have, for first time in my life, a family, a good family, a trusting family. I was not ready to tell them. I didn't know how it's going to be the reaction of my friends and my family. So what I did was this year was a study alone about Islam. I keep it for myself. I think except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no one else knows. Except that they realize that I'm not drinking and not eating pork and not going out, and I'm trying not to have silly conversations or saying things like, you know, silly things or be involved in a conversation talking about sexual relationships, things like this. I try to avoid that. Also, in this point, I was thinking how I'm gonna tell to them, and I started to talk about Islam to some friends of mine who were Christians, not Catholics, they were Christian evangelicals, and I started to talk about Islam, about what Islam say. So some people tell me, like, you want to be Muslim or something. I tell, no, I'm a Christian. I said, but I just want to know, you know, I was not ready to tell them. So I remember one of them tell me, don't talk to me anymore about Islam because you made me doubt. I say, oh, you doubt? It's because something wrong. No, I just don't want to know. Don't tell me, I don't want to have doubts about my faith. So at the end I decided to tell my friends, the few friends I had in that moment, that I am a Muslim. And the reactions, well, I guess they were not friends at all, because the reactions were they lost trust in me. And with family I went slowly. I mean, they don't say nothing about, to be honest. The relationship has been a little bit colder than before, yes. It has been colder, less calls or less care about, but out of this, in the days who are signing, like when it's coming Christmas, for even I don't celebrate Christmas, they of course do, they always send me a message or from birthdays. Out of this there is no much relationship. I hope it's going to be better. I pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it better and to guide us all into the right path. Salat is something who give me happiness. I mean, my life changed a lot when I started to make the Salat, the Muslim way we pray 5 times a day, and I really find the understanding of some point I read in the Bible. When I was a Christian, there is the Psalms of Dawood alayhi salam, who say, "Oh my Lord, only in you my soul rests. only in you can I find peace. And this is what I really find when I'm making sujood. When you stop from your daily occupation and you put your forefront in sujood and you feel this peace.
Allahu Akbar. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
When I embraced Islam, Siam was the most difficult part for me. I was in doubt if I'm gonna be able to make it, because to be 30 days, 12 hours without eating and drinking, I never did that in my life, so I was worried about that. I started slowly. The first years I was alone, so I did it for myself. And I made some days yes, some days not. I know it was not the right thing, but it was my first time like a Muslim. And the second Ramadan, I find it easy. When I was started reading the Quran, in that time I was reading a book. I remember I was reading a book and I read the name of Nurdin in the book. So I was interested for this name. I decided to put this name Nurdin also because of the meaning. Who was Nur, which means light, and Din, who is the religion of the way. And because I think that Islam, this Din, is full of light, was a good name to put to myself. 5 years after this, I realized that it is a big responsibility also. Because to be a Nur on the Din, or to try to be a light to others, is not easy. You need to fight against yourself, against your desire, against your nafs, and improve every day. And it's a constantly fight. It's not easy, so it's a big responsibility. I will say that I'm really proud, in a certain degree. I'm really proud to choose this name, because when someone asks me, I try to explain then what it means and what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be, if Allah allow me, a little of light in so many darkness around in this world. May Allah help me with this.